Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to take you for a little walk down memory lane to some of my first Instagram posts and through my old sketchbooks to show you where I started in watercolor to where I am now. Let's do it! Okay, so to start, I'm just going to go through some of the materials I started out with. So it was May 2016, almost 3 years ago. I went to Michael's. I was having a really hard time with my mental health that year. I was feeling very depressed and anxious a lot of the time. So I went to Michael's and I picked up this watercolor palette. I had been painting since I was a kid. I hadn't done it in a while, but I'd always been painting and drawing and stuff like that. So I decided to go there and just pick up a watercolor palette. Went to the dollar store, picked up some brushes. I had an old brush that I used from high school too that was awful. But essentially these are the brushes that I was using. And I just began to paint. So before we go through the tour, I'm just gonna go through some of the materials that I used from then to now. So I started off with these for watercolor, but as I started scrolling through Instagram, I became kind of obsessed with brush lettering and calligraphy. And so the Tombow markers were not available to me at that time. They didn't have them at Michael's yet. And then Curry's art store was all the way downtown, so I hadn't had a chance to get there. But at Michael's, they did have this Prismacolor brush marker, and this was like the only ones that I could find. You see it? Anyway, it has a felt tip, and this tip frays super fast, and it was awful. But this is what I started out with. And then once I got the chance to go downtown, I ended up purchasing a bunch of these Tombow markers, which I became obsessed with and I have tons of. And I was using that as watercolor too, which you can draw with them and then go over them with watercolor and blend them, and they blend really nicely. Sorry. Anyway, and I ended up getting one of these, the Tombow brush lettering pens. But yeah, so those were some of the first things I started using. And then as time went on, I purchased these Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus Fine Art watercolors, which are literally liquid watercolor. And they're super pigmented, and I use them primarily to do some brush lettering on watercolor paper with like a brush like this. So these were some of my first art materials. This was all before I went to the workshop with Stephanie Fehrenbach and really fell in love with watercolor and actually purchased some really good materials. So I was painting with this kind of stuff for about 4 or 5 months before I really got into it. So first I'm going to take you on a little tour of my Instagram at the beginning, because some of the first things I did, I ended up creating an art account and posting my stuff there. So this stuff is right from the beginning. So let's check it out. So this is the first photo that I posted of my brand new watercolor palette the day I started painting again. Look how pretty and clean it is. And this is the first floral painting that I did based off some flowers that I had. It's not too bad. I decided to paint some fruit and try some lettering with my paint and paintbrush. And I was really into making watercolor backgrounds and just sayings and quotes and stuff. I needed some positivity in my life, so that's what I do. Here's some more florals. These are not the greatest, and you can tell by the quality of the paints too, it's not the greatest. And I was really into making feathers. I think I watched a tutorial for that one. Here's some lettering that I did with the paint and paintbrush. Oh my goodness, that is not great. And I started getting into drawing leaves and wreaths. And then I really started getting into painting florals. These aren't that bad. It's not the best I've done, but you know, it was just a start, and I found that flowers really made me happy. So this is a photo from the first watercolor workshop I went to with Stephanie Fehrenbach, and the brush lettering as well with Becca Cortese from The Happy Ever Crafter. And here's some of the actual work that we did. I had so much fun at this workshop. So then I became really into making cards with a bunch of florals and giving them to people. So eventually I just got better. I started making gems, just trying anything and everything at this point. I continued with Greenery, looked up a lot of reference photos on Pinterest. And then I think it was in January, I went to my second watercolor workshop with Stephanie. This one I found I really enjoyed and became a whole lot better. I really got the hang of, the shapes and, just a better understanding of putting together bouquets and color palettes. And this is also when I started to up my quality of materials too. I had been practicing for 9 months and I thought it was time to, invest in some good quality paper and more paint. So that's what I did. I tried it on different surfaces. I made these eggs for Easter. I was just literally trying everything and anything, practicing every day. My office is full of florals and greenery. And I really started to focus more on taking better quality photos. So I'd use more natural light. I'd up the brightness and the saturation just to make it more appealing. And yeah, that's how I did it. And I also taught myself how to paint succulents. I think I have a tutorial on that too on my YouTube channel, so check it out. Okay, so now since you've seen a bunch of the stuff I started out with that I post on my Instagram, I'm just going to take you through a quick walkthrough through some of my first sketchbooks. Some of the pictures may be the same, but I just want to show you a couple. This was my first sketchbook. This was done with the Prismacolor brush pen. I think there was like a prompt on Instagram of 10 things to know about me. Anyway, those had to do with that. But like my lettering is not the greatest. It was right at the beginning. There's a wedding dress I was doing. I don't know. I was really into Say Yes to the Dress apparently. So this is like one of my first peonies. Yeah, and this was done with my watercolor palette. It's super, super chalky. Like if you rub it too hard, it will come off on your fingers. But I didn't really have a great concept of the shape and stuff like that, so it's not the greatest, but that's one of my first ones. I was really into painting and writing quotes because I wasn't feeling the greatest. I was trying to channel some positivity through doing that kind of stuff. But here's some of the first greenery I did, but look at this. It all pools together and it's just awful quality paints. Again, with the quotes, trying to get those leaves down, but honestly, if you're just starting out, I would highly recommend the Prang watercolors over these any day. Some of my first florals, look at that. Tried to do some shading with different colors of yellow. Not too bad. I had a bit of a concept of shading and stuff like that from art class in high school, but I think that one might have been on my Instagram. Encouraging words. This isn't too bad. I was getting the leaf shape down. Color's nice. Oh, I had some succulents here as well. And I think that's all for that one. So there was that. And then let's see what we got in here. Got some more quotes and florals. That was my thing. That was my jam. Oh my gosh. Like that's not great. Look how, oof, not good. What am I doing? Oh, this is, this was done with the Tombow markers. So I wrote with it and then I just put water on top and it blended really nicely, but I was really into galaxies at that point and everyone was doing it on Instagram. So I tried that. Oh, sorry, more florals. Honestly, this kind of feels like a little embarrassing. It's very intimate. This isn't too bad. The shapes are good. I got into doing wreaths. There's that. And then after, so I showed you on Instagram how I went to the workshop. And this is some of the actual stuff that I did there. And this was the finished piece that we learned how to do. But yeah, look at that. Oh, that changed my life, that one. Totally fell in love. All right, and then this is done with the Hydrus watercolor. These ones, so as you can see, they're really, really, really bright. They're not chalky, but I think they were quite expensive too. More wreaths. So this was after, I believe, after the workshop. So it's getting better, slowly getting better. And you can also see the different quality in paint, right? It's not chalky. The blends are better, but it's still not great just because the quality of paper. You still get these marks. You see that? Yeah. Because of the paper. So the color bleeds were not good. More leaves. What else do we got in here? Pineapples. Greenery. More florals. Yeah, there's that book. And then my last book. Let's see what we got in here. Now this is mixed media paper, so this is even thinner. So as you can see, the thinner the paper, the worse the work, I guess. But no, like the watermarks and stuff, it doesn't blend well. So if you're having trouble with that, don't get down on yourself. Oh my gosh. So I had started my Instagram May 2016, and I don't know when this was, but eventually I got to 100 Instagram followers, and I did this. And I was like super excited. This is embossed. I was super obsessed with that too. Yeah, 100 people. So exciting. Most of them were my family. Letter practice. So crazy to look back. Like this was August. This is when I was trying to come up with my Instagram name. So someone on my live Instagram story, was it last week? Asked me how I pronounce my last name. So MJ Lefebvre. My name is Emma Jean. Emma is my first name, Jean's my middle name, and Lefebvre is my married last name. It's a French-Canadian last name. My husband's family, they're French-Canadian. So it's spelled nothing like it sounds, which is fun and a good conversation piece. But just to remember it, think of I'm your fave. I'm Lefebvre. That's how I used to teach my students how to say my name. Some more peonies, and yeah. So this is it, guys. So I basically went from like here to here. Like you can see the quality difference, especially because of the paper and the paints. You know, it just takes so much practice, and you gotta just keep going, honestly, but you also have to enjoy it too. So my suggestions are, if you're enjoying it, keep going. Practice for a while, and then if you feel good, upgrade to some better materials. You might notice a big difference in your work. But just don't give up, and try and let go and enjoy it, and just keep on learning, because I'm still learning every day. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little sketchbook tour. It was kind of vulnerable for me to show you all my old artwork, but I hope it gives you insight into where you can start and where you can end up just by practice. So that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please comment below. I love talking to you guys, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Can you say bye?